Hello folks, and welcome back to where I play Ys 1 and 2. Now we've got some unfinished business with a man in black. And since, well, we want the Claria ring, he'll help us out. Okay, Dallas is not lying. Your magic does not work, so there's no point in equipping any of your magic boosting items. Dallas can be a bit problematic when you're first fighting him and, don't know his tricks. However, if you know how to deal with his patterns, he's not that difficult to deal with. In fact, I think I may have come in a bit over level. The thing is, they actually nerfed him in Chronicles as opposed to Complete because his fireballs launching after you hit him actually used to have insanely good tracking. So really all you need to have to deal with Dallas is patience. And, a memory of how to use your sword against bosses. After that, though, it's just a matter of keeping an eye on when he's actually going to shoot at you and not get caught up in bullet streams. By the way, this theme, Overdrive, first showed up in Ys Complete. However, there's unused data of it in the PC-88 versions of Ys 1 and 2. So this was intended to be Dallas's boss theme right from the beginning. And Dallas has gotten his just desserts. And there's the mirror from the opening cutscene. Let's see what's on the other side. And this is the last magic, the shield magic. When you turn it on, it slowly drains your MP, however, it basically turns your MP meter into a second life bar. And here we are in the deepest part of Ys. And here's Tarf. How did he get in here anyway? Is there a back door or something? Well, you're looking alive. Okay, no way through, but... Oh, okay. So Keith is being doggy today. Yeah, how did you all get in here anyway? The only way in here was behind Dallas. Well, as far as I know. Alright, who's hiding? At all using his great tracking skills to find Lilia. better be sorry. Ah, the goddess ring. It's not just a plot item. It actually boosts our stats a little, but its main use is making the final boss beatable. Wait a minute. This is the bottom of the Rustini mine, where we got the book. There's the door that wouldn't open before. Alright, let's take on whoever's behind the... Oh, dear. This is Darm, who was voiced by Alan Oppenheimer in the Turbo CD version. For more details on the first defeat of Darm, play through Claw's story in Ys Origin. Haha, that ain't happening. Why? Because NPCs in Ys 1 and 2 are awesome. Oh well, I guess you just had that kind of thing lying around, didn't you? Okay, time to play the harmonica. Okay, surprising no one who played Ys Origin first, Fina and Rhea are the goddesses of Ys. Or really anyone who has pattern recognition with JRPGs. Now remember when I said you could give gifts to anybody in the game? That still applies. And the harmonica has now passed to Adol. Well, that's okay, you didn't really know back then either. But wait, didn't we already use a Black Pearl? Okay, powering up. The whole thing about 2 Black Pearls was finally reconciled in Ys Origin, by the way. The smaller one we had was actually a mock-up created by Dallas. Oh, and that little whistly thing only happens if you gave Rhea gifts before giving Fina gifts. Now, if for some reason you used up any hit points or magic getting here, Fina will restore them for you. And one last check. Everything's set. Save before the final boss. But first, bad juju is ahead. Get back, you don't want to get bits on you. This scene, by the way, only plays if you've already beaten the game on normal or higher. And now, back to us. This is where you want to turn on the shield magic, because right through here is the final boss. Okay, the final boss of Ys 1 and 2, Darm the Transcendent One. He was actually given a fairly big buff in Chronicles because in Complete he was actually something of a pushover. He's much more aggressive in this version of the game. And while I can beat him semi-reliably, it's not a guarantee. I'm already taking a lot more damage than I would when I used to fight him back in Ys 1 and 2 Complete. In any case, he has 2 phases. This is the second phase, where the bullet hell becomes even more intense, and... see, my shield is already down. In fact, if I didn't use the Rotafruit, I probably would have actually lost this boss fight. because shield actually takes less damage from his attacks than your life bar does. However, now he's down. And because we broke the source of the magic of Ys, we have no more MP. And everyone's here to greet us. Yeah, he had good reason to be afraid of Adol. Which reminds me, even though the magic of Ys is banished, in Mask of the Sun, it's shown that Keith can actually still control his demon powers and transform at will. Which makes sense, because he's defended from the one of the Super Fact brothers who could control his demon powers. Oh, and by the way, you can actually fight and defeat Darm without the Claria Shield, and if you do that, Luta will be carrying the Claria Shield throughout the whole of the ending and all of the end credits. It looks like the thing with Ys is happening. Yeah, one of the reasons I'm okay with this kind of the magic goes away ending is that first off, it's only the magic of Ys, and secondly, the only people who were using the magic were Adol and the bad guys. Wink. Rhea will only wink there if you gave the goddesses gifts before fighting Dharm. And that's it for the main story of Ys 1 and 2 Chronicles. There will be a few bonus videos coming along, but for now, this is the end. So, final verdict. I would say that in the realm of the old-school action RPGs, that Ys 1 and 2 is pretty much as essential as games like The Legend of Zelda. There are a few tropes that Ys 1 and 2 actually introduced to JRPGs as a whole that became fairly popular thereafter for the decades to come forward. It is one of the big codifiers of JRPG tropes outside of Final Fantasy and the Dragon Quest series. And even outside its actual importance to the history of the gameplay, story development, it was, in fact, probably the first action RPG of its kind to develop the story in-game. And there are the ladies fawning over Luda? And even aside from that, the gameplay remains very solid, even though its combat scheme is a bit unconventional by today's standards. So, it's really well worth the price of admission. Oh, by the way, we fixed the lava and the ice ridge, well, mostly. So, Lava Village is no longer a giant hellhole. Because, if you'll remember, the moat was maintained by the magic of Ys. So, the land of Asteria has been saved, Ys has been reunited with the ground. But this is not the end of Adol's adventures by a long shot, and maybe I'll cover a couple more of those sometime. But until then, this has been Ys 1 and 2 Chronicles Plus for Steam and PC release. And I will be seeing you next time.